Hello, Interverse. Hello, wherever you are. Crypto G here, coming at you with another Lightworks video tutorial. What's up, my tutorial crew? I'm just going to give you a very quick video on how to use the chroma key feature, otherwise known as green screen or green screen editing in Lightworks. Okay, so first of all, I've got this clip here, which, you know, I could have probably found a better, example of green screen, because funnily enough, this has been green screened itself. This has been cut out and put in front of a green background, and I can just tell the way it's moving, you know what I mean, and these little lines here. You get to sort of get quite good at spotting these things. But hey, for the purposes of this demonstration, it's okay. Okay, so first things first. Actually, let's just undo that. So Control Z. So we go in actual order of what we're meant to do. First things first, we're going to add a track. We're going to add video. And so now we've got two tracks, and Lightworks always puts the lower number on top, so V1 on top, V2 on the bottom. We want to take this onto V1. We don't need the audio, so I'm just going to get rid of the audio tracks. Actually, tracks, delete. And I'm just going to tell it to delete the audio. Sometimes they come back if you bring in another clip with audio, which is a little bit annoying, but okay, it's not doing it now. Okay, so then this here, which we're going to place underneath, is what we want our chickens to be in front of. Instead of this green screen, they're going to be in front of this seat. This this street scene, and as you can see, it's not long enough, so I'm just going to bring down a couple. And make it roughly the same length. Okay, I could even trim that back if I wanted, but you know, it's not mega important for this demo. Okay, so I'm just going to close that down, and we're going to shoot ourselves over to the VFX tab. So here we see our chickens, and of course underneath, I'll just make this a little bit bigger. Underneath, we've still got the tracks here on V2 of our busy city street. Okay, so let us go ahead. So V1 is where we've got the chickens, so we're going to right click on that, and we're going to add, and you can see here my key is open. Yours might not be. You might have various menus open. You can either scroll down or simply close all of them and it'll pop up. So we want chroma key, so I'm going to just double click on that. So we've now added a chroma key to the top chicken layer, and as you can see, it's over here. Now if we want to get rid of the color of green, we just simply take the pipette there next to the word saturation, click on that, come here, and like I said, this isn't real, this wasn't filmed properly, so I'm going to try and take a sample from quite close to their bodies. Oops, there we go. And there we go. But of course now, if I play the video, we can see that that doesn't look too realistic at all. For a start, this chicken here is floating in midair. This guy here as well, we can see little bits of green around them, and you know, and they're too big. They're too big, basically. The scale isn't quite right. So what we would do there is, and if you've watched these before or use Lightworks, you know that in order to manipulate size and size, scale, position, we use 2D DVE. So I've just added that as well to the chicken, and just like before, we might scale it down, make it smaller. Aha, look now, and move it. But look, it's made it all one picture. So I just wanted to show you that that's what happens if you do this in the wrong order. Is I guess the chroma key kind of flattens the image, you know, because we've got layers here, V1 and V2, but the chroma key kind of flattens it all into one image in order to work. So let's remove that. We'll remove the 2D DVE, and we're going to remove the chroma key. So how are we meant to do it? Well, we put the 2D DVE first. Okay, and that now allows us to scale and position. So I'm going to position there, I'm going to scale it down. I'm actually going to move the video somewhere else, so it's just random. That'll do. Oops. Here we go, that'll do. I just wanted blank in the background so I can have a look at roughly. I'm going to use my mouse to kind of grab here, and crucially I'm going to go on to opacity and turn that down so that I can actually see what's behind my little green screen there. Okay, right, so I'm going to sort of put around there. That'll do. I'm going to whack the opacity back up. Now I can right click on my V1 chicken track and I can add the chroma key. Okay, and off we go, because remember the chroma key takes, you know, this is what it's taking at the moment, right? So we have to tell it to take the green, which is what we wanted out. So again, I'm going to just sort of click around there, and now we can see that that green has disappeared. We've got a position of the chickens we want, and everything's looking gravy. Let's just play that. Okay, so you might find that, you know, I've actually got a good key there, but you might find that you've got little bits of green, especially if it wasn't filmed properly. So just a quick little extra bonus tip: if you are filming green screen, there's only two things you've got to really remember to get a good green screen and minimize your amount of spill, which is the amount of green that spills onto the subject, making it very difficult to get rid of that green without making parts of your subject disappear as well. The first rule is make sure you have good distance between your subject and the screen, preferably at least 6 feet. And then the second rule is to light the background and the subject separately. So if you have one light that's lighting you and your green screen, you will have problems. You know, unless you're an editor of 20 years who've been really used to green screening, you will have problems getting rid of that key. So just make sure you have two sets of lights, one lighting the subject, say, you know, somebody talking in front of the screen, and one lighting the actual screen itself. Okay, so let's go. So let's have a look at these. So if we go here, hue, you can see that if I move these top ones here, I'm changing the scope, and at the top, as a lot with color correction, you know, that's kind of the highlights. The bottom is the shadows or low lights, and as I move around, I'm getting a slightly better key going on. I can move completely to the left or right, and now you see, because I've moved it off the green and moved it into the kind of blue, the green has come back, and of course we don't have any blue to disappear, but sometimes people use blue screens as opposed to green screens. Okay, so that's the hue. You know, you can also play around with what saturation of green the key is targeting. So if I move it out there to the grayscale, you see again it comes back. Let's just move that back. There we go. And luminance as well is how dark or light the green is that it's going to take out. Yeah. Okay, so in order to get a bit more accurate, you should use the reveal button here. And as we can see, the reveal button makes everything black and white, a silhouette in a white background. So the black is what we want to see, and the white is what we don't want to see. So if I had like loads of spots here, so let me just sort of move this around a little bit. Let's just move it around, try and get a sort of bad key going. Let's move that into the yellow. There we go, that's the sort of thing I'm talking about. Now, as you can see, bits of white coming through on the chicken, and if I move there, I mean, that's not great. Let's move that luminance. Let's try and get rid of that whilst, oops, excuse me. Let's try and get rid of that whilst keeping those spots, which is quite difficult. I'm trying to get a bad key, but it's actually quite difficult. There we go. Look, that's as bad as I can make it. So you can't see really because the green is in the background now, but if it wasn't, you'd start to see lots of little spots of green on their bodies, and that is shown. If I click reveal again, that's shown there. So I'm just going to get rid of those, just make it kind of nice again. There we go. Nice from grey to white. And that's basically it. You can play around with remove spill, softness, and what have you. This is all for edges. In fact, I haven't got rid of that properly, have I? Let me just bring that in. Let's just bring that in. These are all for your edges. Okay. So there we go. That's gone now. Okay, and then I'd hit reveal. And we see I've got a nice solid black and white image. So that's basically it. You know, play around, make sure you position your subject before you actually put the chroma key in. Make sure if you filmed the green screen yourself that there is enough separation between your subject and the actual green screen. And then, yeah, have fun. If you found this helpful, please don't forget to click below, like and subscribe, and I will see you next time. Crypto G out.